welcome back to the Drivers Room. We're in the Sunday League again today. This is Season 3, Round 7, Tier 1, and we're racing at the Nürburgring 24-hour layout in the Toyota FT1 VGT cars, one make race. On pole position today we have Plux the Duck. He's starting on the racing softs and everyone else is on the super softs. Second place today we have Alex, third place Drsl, fourth place myself DJ Rice, fifth place Flapjack, 6th Gadget, 7th place MJR Mercer, 8th on the grid Mr. Sean, 9th Rocker, 10th Canny, 11th place Cafe Del Mar, and 12th place Martin. I think Martin had an issue in qualifying, so starting from the back, but this definitely opens up the championship as Alex has back-to-back wins at the moment, and sitting in second on the grid is on for a good result today. But yeah, let's get underway. So here we are on the grid, Nürburgring 24-hour layout, round 7 now of season 3. Things really starting to tighten up at the top of the table as we opt for a rolling start again today. But yeah, Alex in second place at the moment. He's had back-to-back wins, and with Martin having issues in qualifying starting at the back today, Alex in a very good position to gain some good points and to take his championship to the wire in the final round. As Plux leading everyone away into turn 1. All positions being maintained through this difficult first 2 corners on cold tyres. That looks like Canny running a little bit wide there. Martin B making up a place early on. Martin B probably is going to need to dispatch as many drivers as he can on this opening lap, especially before we get to the Drsl section, where it can turn into a little bit of a train of cars if you're similarly paced. It's still very difficult to overtake. As we've got Alex putting Plux under pressure early on. Drsl following close behind, a little bit of a gap back to myself in 4th. Flapjack 5th, Gadget in 6th. As Martin B getting closer to the back of Cafe Del Mar now, as Rocker is dropping off the back of Mr. Sean early on. Join the leaders. Entering the Drsl for the first time, Plux in the lead, Alex in second, Drsl in third, myself 4th, Flapjack 5th, Gadget 6th, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th getting very close together now. Mercer not that far behind in 7th, Mr. Sean in 8th. There's a bit of tyre screeching there from Rocker on the way in. Doing enough to retain the 9th position at the moment. Martin's a little bit bottled up back in 11th. He really needs to make some ground up in this race today. He has a lot of work to do. Looks like Flapjack has fallen off the back of myself in 4th, and very close to Drsl running down this straight as we go side by side, and nose lifting off the floor there over the hill. Get the job done up into 3rd place. So both myself and Drsl giving each other enough room. Moving myself up to 3rd. Drsl down to 4th now. As 1st and 2nd pull away a little bit down the road. So Plux really starting to turn on the pace now. Very capable driver around this track. Very difficult to beat today. So Flapjack running well in 5th, Gadget close behind as Mercer has dropped off the back of the top 6. And Mr. Sean starts to close out, and that's Martin B up to 9th place now, so we have missed that. Martin has made up 2 more places. Up into 9th, right on the tail of Mr. Sean. So he gets bunched up through that difficult section as Martin B just pulling out the slipstream here as he's got better overspeed. See if he can get the job done round the outside. I think he has. He's up into 8th place now. MJR Mercer next man down the road. Pretty good opening stint from Martin so far, and plucked out in the lead of this race quite comfortably, as he's pulled a couple of seconds to Alex already, and himself in third. Drsl in fourth, similar gaps between second, third and fourth at the moment. Flapjack still dealing with the pressure from Gadget behind. Yeah, looks like Martin's closed the gap up to Mercer. Mercer in front pretty quickly as he looks to make his moves and force his way into the higher positions. Should have a good run if he gets a good exit from this corner. A series of corners. So we've got a flat out section coming up now as a side by side through that flat out left hander. Good driving from the pair there. And Martin moving himself up into 7th place now. And Mercer down to 8th. Just needs to try and stay on the tail of Martin. So Martin very quick at this stage of the race. And Mercer can do with getting dragged up the road into the top 6 battle again. Gadget still tucked up behind Flapjack at the moment. So very, very difficult track to overtake, obviously, and even if you are reasonably quicker than the car in front, if you just position your car well enough, it's practically impossible to get past. And Flapjack shown past races already has very good racecraft. He knows he's got a very quick driver and Gadget behind. Come back to that battle soon. We've got Martin in clean air now, see if he can make progress on Gadget in front. Mercer just about staying in touch with him at the moment. Mr. Sean has Canny closing in now. Mr. Sean running in 9th. Rounding up the top 10 positions at the moment. Cafe Del Mar in 11th and Rocker in 12th, going sideways across the grass. We didn't see that, but still got dirty tyres. That just about keeps the car pinned on the grey stuff. But looking very quick through that section there. A lot of downforce on this Toyota. Top 3, top 4, pretty similar field spread between the top 5 as Flapjack runs wide there. This could give Gadget an opportunity. I think he's managed to keep his speed up. He's just got to be careful in the braking zone now with dirty tyres, but does well there. As I say, went off track, managed to keep the speed up and retains track position for now. Obviously Gadget will have a run on the main straight. And I think Kenny will be looking for a similar move. And Mr. Sean in front, just joining Gadget down the straight now. Don't think he's close enough. There's a 5th gear, 6th gear for Gadget, just maybe conserving a bit of fuel on this stage of the race. So Martin B in clean air, running 7th at the moment. So Mr. Sean and 6th gear with slipstream is getting that Toyota close to the 200-mile-an-hour mark there as Kenny moves to the left-hand side under Bilstein Bridge. So a little bit of contact there. Not much either driver could do. Is nearly 200-mile-an-hour under the bridge. Try to give each other enough space, and that might well have been Kenny yielding that position back because of the contact. But either way, we've got Mr. Sean reclaiming 9th place as these two carry on and start their battle again for lap 2. And we still have Gadget in 6th place, so yeah, Gadget still tucked up behind Flapjack at the moment. And just look at the fuel levels there. Flapjack just over half a tank, Gadget just under 3/4 of a tank. So by the end of this stint that Gadget could be 25% of fuel better off. Keep an eye on that. Martin B still running in 7th. Mr. Sean Canny still continuing their battle as that is Canny moving his way through up into 9th place now. So Dante, Mr. Sean runs wide. Not a great race for Sean so far. He'll have Cafe Del Mar closing in. So next man down the road. Cafe Del Mar not making that many appearances in the Sunday League this season. Very welcome addition when he does. Rocker down in 12th. Still out in the lead of this race. Plucks the duck. 7 minutes 49 on that opener. 7 minutes 51 from Alex. So that's a lot of raw pace there as well. Himself running in 3rd. Drsl running in 4th. Keep an eye on fuels and strategies. Back end nearly stepping out on Flapjack's car there. Under immense pressure from Gadget behind still. Still managing to keep up. Good lap pace, but Martin B is closing up behind. You can see these two in front now. Ground a little bit. The track rises up there. There's a wheel on the grass there, but keeps his foot pinned to the floor. He is definitely closing the gap on 5th and 6th place. Flapjack and Gadget up ahead. As we just go past the 10-minute mark now. Gadget doing a much better job on fuel than the guys around him at the moment. Plucks just over half a tank. Similar fuel levels for Plucks and Alex in 1st and 2nd. Both these guys just running away with this race a little bit now. And myself in 3rd. Drsl just getting himself back up to speed now. Drsl a little bit better off on the fuel as well at this stage of the race, and myself ahead. Does seem to be closing that gap up again. Myself in 4th, so Flapjack, Gadget and now Martin B not that far behind. 4th place Drsl now. As Flapjack now has 2 cars in his rear view mirror. Must be feeling the pressure. Good job so far. You see that back just wiggling all over the place as the tyre wear kicking in now. You see the overtake button being used by Flapjack on the exit of the corner. You see defensive driving right on his mind at the moment. You see both Flapjack and Gadget on the overtake button on the exit of that corner as well. Flapjack doing enough just to open a tiny bit of a gap. To not be under immediate pressure. It's came out full mistake. 2 very quick drivers. Right on his tail now. So MJ Nice back in 8th place, running well, but in a bit of clean there front and back. Cafe Del Mar up into 9th place now. Mr. Sean in 10th. Canny in 11th, Rocker in 12th. See, Drsl does seem to be getting a little bit closer. Everyone moving entirely through the carousel. And Martin B's had an incident somewhere, and he's going to have Mercer closing in on him. Sorry mate, we'll have to take a look back. And Martin B here tail Gadget. As close as he has been to these two cars in front. Absolutely nailing it. I can only imagine it's a wheel on the grass, which it is. Just a little bit too much. Trying to get a little bit too much out of the track there. And absolutely bins it, spears it into the barrier. And this has allowed MJR Mercer to catch up considerably. Martin with a lot of work to do now. Had a really good opening stint, working his way up to 7th. He had 5th and 6th right in front. 4th not that further up the road either, but has lost a massive chunk of time now. Has a fair bit of work to do. So if Mercer can start to catch him now. As Cafe Del Mar having an incident as well as we flick back. Was running well in 9th and opening up a good gap to Mr. Sean. So that's been thrown out the window a little bit now. He struggles to get back on the pace a little bit. So Mr. Sean closing the gap up in 10th. Kenny picking up a penalty somewhere in 11th. Rocker closing up the gap to Kenny ahead in 12th. And we've lost Drsl, and let's have another look back as we rejoin the action a little bit further back. Drsl absolutely on it. You see really closing the gap to myself up in front and getting himself in a position to make a move. And it's probably a similar story, and he loses the back end there, spears it into the wall. And yeah, loses a massive chunk of time as Flapjack and Gadget make their way through. Mine will be the next man down the road, but having a similar incident as that. Probably still quite a gap, but so yeah, Flapjack and Gadget up to 4th and 5th now. Drsl must be kicking himself as he really did start to lock the car in and find some really good pace, closing the gap to myself considerably. But yeah, with those two incidents, Flapjack, Gadget and myself definitely have one less thing to think about as Flapjack runs wide there. As Gadget's going to have a look surely. But coming up to the long straight now, it might not be the worst thing in the world for Flapjack. As if you're going to make a mistake and get overtaken, that is the place to do it. As you're now tucked in the slipstream, and you will have a nice slingshot down the straight. So just passing the halfway mark now. Just keep an eye on these two as Flapjack does comfortably move up into 4th place. See if he can retain track position going into the pits. So I imagine everyone will pit. So Pluck's from the lead yet. Alex pitting from 2nd, myself pitting from 3rd. Similar fuel levels to the leaders, 35%. Flapjack does retain track position, goes into the pits just ahead of Gadget. Gadget 46% of fuel there, so yeah, did do a really good job. Drsl diving into the pits now. Martin not that far behind either. Has managed to pull a gap to MJR Mercer again. But we'll keep an eye on this as Gadget leaves the pits in 3rd place, so he's leapfrogged not only Flapjack but myself as well, as just over half a tank of fuel there for Gadget. So definitely confident on the fuel levels. That may well be myself over fueling a bit, but either way, that is Gadget up into 3rd place of this race now. Obviously Pluck's rejoining the race in 1st after the pit stop, Alex in 2nd. Yeah, Gadget up into the podium places now, myself in 4th. Flapjack finds himself in clean air front and back in 5th now after Gadget's leapfrog up the road. Drsl rejoins the race in 6th, Martin in 7th, MJR Mercer in 8th, Cafe Del Mar in 9th, Mr. Sean in 10th. He's got Kenny just refueling now, about to leave the pits in 11th, and Rocker in 12th. Interesting turn of events there at the pit stop. Pluck's looking like he just needs to bring this home. Alex only about 2 or 3 seconds down the road, so still keeping him reasonably honest at this stage of the race. But, yeah, Pluck's certainly looking on for the win today. And Alex, even if he finishes second, he'll obviously do with the win. But looks like he's set to finish a good few positions above Martin today, which will be crucial in his championship fight. There's Gadget running in third still. I imagine once he gets to the tighter sections of this track, he'll probably play with the fuel mix a little bit. So around about a second behind at the moment. Bang on the overtake button, looking to at least catch the slipstream and put Gadget under a bit of pressure. Flapjack running comfortably in 5th, Drsl in 6th, Martin B in 7th, Drsl in 8th, Cafe Del Mar in 9th, Mr. Sean in 10th, Canny in 11th and Rocker in 12th. We've got quite a bit of field spread with the drivers at the moment. Plux and Alex and myself and Gadget, probably the closest cars on track at the moment. Quick on ball, Gadget running wide, and this might well give me an opportunity, but just about gets the track, gets the car where he needs it on track, gets the power down and gets away with that one. A little bit closer going into that series of corners, and might well have been able to make a move, but maybe this pressure is paying off a little bit. Some mistake from Gadget there. So line of Drsl at the moment, 3rd and 4th places being maintained by both drivers. Yeah, definitely need a mistake from Gadget up front. As long as his fuel's okay to the end, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. Obviously knows how to save fuel and still be quick around this track, as he proved in the first stint. Plux still maintaining around 2-second gap over Alex at the moment. Yeah, nothing nothing between these two drivers at this stage of the race. Positions being retained further through the field, although this does look like Cafe Del Mar now closing the gap on MJR Mercer up ahead. 8:13, 8:15. Cafe Del Mar just switching it on now, finding a bit of pace. As he did have a crash, a slight off, and lost time to Mr. Sean behind, but more than opened the gap up again. He looks to put Mercer under a bit of pressure. There's my house phone ringing. Apologies. Yeah, while I was dealing with that phone call, left it on there. Thankfully, and you've just seen Cafe Del Mar move himself up into 8th place. Yeah, apologies for that. MJR Mercer down to 9th now. Just have a quick run through the grid, make sure I haven't actually missed anything else. So Pluck's still in 1st, maintaining that gap over Alex. Gadget in 3rd, looks like he's opened a bit of a gap up to myself in 4th now. Managed to break that toe as Flapjack and Drsl get close together, so Drsl definitely starting to close the gap on Flapjack up ahead. for the final top 5 position. So there'll be another lap. There'll be another lap to go. Ooh, big chunk of curb there from Flapjack. Oh, he's lost it. Does end up facing the right way, but a huge accident there from Flapjack. He took a massive chunk of curb on the entry into the corner. He's just sent the car into the air. He's got a bit of damage to contend with for a few corners now as well, as Martin B's not that far behind. So yeah, huge incident there from Flapjack, as Drsl was closing in, so maybe just watching that delta a little bit too much, and pressure got to him a little bit. Yeah, big mistake there, but down to 6 now. See if he can get himself back up to speed and maintain that speed, because Martin B not that far behind now. Martin B could definitely do with making up as many places as possible today. Cafe Del Mar running in 8th place now, already pulled a sizable gap to MJR Mercer behind. I think Martin B a little bit too far up the road now, as most of these guys will one more lap. 7 minutes, yeah, this could very well be the final lap now. That's the duck. Start of lap 4, leading the way ahead of Awesome Alex, who needs to maintain this position at least. Could very much do with putting Plux under a bit of pressure himself, maybe force a very uncharacteristic mistake. Jesus. Yeah, force Plux into a mistake, maybe nick the win today, and that will go a long way into his championship fight. And as I say, it does look set to go into the final round of the season. Myself just about staying in touch with Gadget. There's your Cafe Del Mar pitting from 8th place, so weren't watching the fuel level there. And Martin B still on the gearbox of Flapjack, and yeah, Cafe Del Mar having to pit again. So MJR Mercer back up into 8th place now. Mr. Sean taking 9th place on the entry into T1. See Cafe Del Mar just rejoining the race in P10. So should be very quick for this final stint of the race, and already on the gearbox of Mr. Sean up ahead. Canny still in 11th, Rocket in 12th. Top 2, quite a sizable gap over 3rd place Gadget. 7:49.999, nice lap. Just under a second quicker than myself on the out lap. Drsl up to 5th place now, and after his huge incident, nearly has another one. Yeah, definitely needed to avoid that, but yeah, after his mistake earlier in the race, has recovered reasonably well back up to 5th place. Flapjack, who spent the first part of the race with Gadget all over his gearbox, now has Martin B to contend with for the final part of this race. See if he can hold on to that 6th place. Got a long way to go. It's under 6 minutes of this lap left, so yeah, it's looking like everyone is on that final lap now. And Cafe Del Mar has already made place up on Mr. Sean, so we've missed that, but obviously considerably quicker at this stage of the race. He's really dialed the car in now. You see that gap back to Sean already, but yeah, Cafe Del Mar looking good for the last part of the race. MJR Mercer not that far up the road, and yeah, should be an interesting finish. I think Cafe Del Mar will start to close up on MJR Mercer towards the end of the race. And as I've been waffling on, we have Alex in the lead of the race. Plux is miles behind as well, so huge accident from Plux somewhere. Let's take a look back. So just joining the race a little bit further back. Plux absolutely lighting up the timing screens at the moment. As you can see, I think he pulled a bit of a gap to Alex. As we come through this downhill section, and a very fast set of corners, completely misjudges the entry, takes a chunk of curb, can't get the car under control for the next corner, takes another huge chunk of curb, nearly collects Alex on his re-entry onto the track and rejoins in second. So Alex has been gifted first place here. He does need to keep on it until the end now, because Plux obviously being no slouch at all. Capable of closing that gap up, but yeah, huge accident there from Plux. Puts Alex up into P1, just under 3 minutes of the 30-minute time slot to go. Where are we now? 3 minutes, and the leader is 3 minutes 30. So yeah, 3.5 to 4 minutes of this race left for Alex to maintain, which is a reasonably comfortable lead over Plux at the moment. Could also be on course to steal that fastest lap as well. So keep an eye on that as a very uncharacteristic mistake from Plux. But Gadget in third now. He's got a reasonably good gap to myself in fourth. Drsl running in a comfortable fifth position. Flapjack still under pressure from Martin in seventh place. As we just flick back to these two, Martin all over the back of Flapjack. They come through one of the slowest corners of the track there. Obviously everyone going in purple, everyone very light at this stage of the race, but a touch more tyre wear on Flapjack's car. Yeah, under an incredible amount of pressure. Again, good exit in that corner though. He's opened up the gap a little bit to Martin again. Martin just needs to pick his moment really. He's going to get this move done. To come onto this long fast section now, this could be a good opportunity to pull out of the slipstreams. Not much space for these cars. So every little kink in the road is a flat out corner, but still very difficult to go side by side around when you're doing 170 mile an hour like these two are at the moment. But Flapjack good enough, hold on to sixth place. Got Phil Martin's a little bit faster at this stage of the race, but Flapjack just positioning his car very well, maintaining good speed and getting good exit from corners. Both of these drivers absolutely on it. Martin running a little bit wide through the carousel. This will give Flapjack just an ounce of breathing room. Just enough just to get your composure back and start nailing some good sectors again. So Flapjack running well in sixth place. Being 7, MJR Mercer in 8th, Cafe Del Mar slowly reeling him in. MJR Mercer doing a good job at the moment to hold on to that 8th place. Imagine that delta slowly decreasing. That's Cafe Del Mar in 9th, Mr. Sean in 10th, Candy 11th, Rocker in 12th, out in the lead of the race. Awesome Alex coming up to the final straight. Consistent drive, completely mistake free, and trying to give the commentator's course curse through the final few corners. He looks to have done enough today to take the win. Plux in second place, too far back from Alex now, but yeah, outstanding pace up until that one incident. A huge crash, and he's saved it. Nice. But yeah, two mistakes I've seen him make now. So just to bring it home in second place. Gadget's closed the gap right up to Clucks in second as well. Myself in fourth, just out of the toe, and Gadget up ahead, so Gadget haven't done enough to have a healthy gap going on to that straight. This is Alex crossing the line first place, 3 wins in last 3 races now for Alex, and this championship will go in to the final round of the season. As Clucks the Ducks bring it home through the final few corners now, so Gadget really closing that gap up as Clucks getting really untidy on lap 4. So still bringing it home in second place. Gadget in third, final podium spot. Myself in fourth, just couldn't do enough to challenge Gadget today. Drsl managed, excuse me, Drsl managed to bring it home in the final top 5 positions. A few more instances than Drsl would have liked today, but he's got to be happy with 5th after all is said and done. And Martin B has done enough to take 6th place away from Flapjack in 7th towards the end of that race. Probably down the main straight, judging how close those two were together. Back to MJ Mercer in 8th place, still got Cafe Del Mar to worry about, as Cafe Del Mar right in the toe now as they come under the bridge. Not quite close enough at the moment. MJ Mercer's just got to put his car, position his car well, and get a good exit out of the final turn, and he should hold on to 8th place as Cafe Del Mar trying a little bit of a switch back there, but Mercer doing enough there, holding on to 8th place, crossing the line. Cafe Del Mar in 9th, Mr. Sean bringing it home in the final top 10 spot, and Rocker in 11th. But that was the Drivers' Room Sunday League. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.